Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. In today's video, we're going to take a look at some updates in the Ripple versus SC case when it comes to Johnny Deaton and a couple of his tweet threads. And there's a couple of videos that I want to play with Charles Gasparino and Liz Clayman. And then this is Jeremy Hogan from his recent video he had put up talking about what was happening with the Ripple versus SC conference that took place with the judge. So there's some highlights in here where he's talking about the SC might just have lost a winner. And then we're going to take a look at a couple more, digital asset investor tweets talking about Jake Travinsky. Trying to save face 101, and then this great tweet thread by X Anderson here, and then we're going to end on this grayscale update, which I think is quite interesting in regards of the Bitcoin ETF. But if we come over here and look at CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a $1.299 trillion market cap, currently down 2.4% for the day. And as you can see, Bitcoin is sitting at 30,351, still in that 29,000 to 31,000 range, and just been ranging there for some time now. Ethereum sitting at 1,800, and then XRP is sitting at 40 cents, still holding strong at 40 cents. If we look at the 24-hour gainer, Theta Network is sitting at 9.1, Cardano 4%, FTX 3.6, and so on. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're still in this extreme fear range, still at 17. We're going to have an update here in about 2 hours. So still there's a lot of market uncertainty going on. We talk about all the time. There's a lot of different narratives going on. A lot of negative market sentiment. There's inflation with Jerome Powell and the Fed in the United States. There's Ukraine and Russia geopolitical things going on as well. There's a lot of different moving parts and a lot of different variables out there that are affecting markets, and our market is clearly not immune to it. So we've been in this extreme fear range for some time. But jumping straight into the content, because I want to cover a couple of these clips. This one about 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and then the next one's going to be about 121. But some great information in regards of kind of what conference, what happened in regards of the Ripple versus SC conference. I'm just going to play this first part, just kind of give you a little insight as to what Charles Gasparino and Liz Clayman were talking about in this Fox Business interview here. So let's take a listen in.
The price of cryptocurrency XRP is jumping about 2.6% at this hour as a key conference in Manhattan in a courtroom just got underway involving the judge who's presiding over the landmark lawsuit between the Securities and Exchange Commission and crypto cross-borders payments platform Ripple. A decision today could help bring a resolution to the case, possibly this year. Charlie Gasparino, what's the latest?
We should point out that my producer, Ellie Tarrant, has a piece out explaining the whole case, what's at stake in very great detail on foxbusiness.com. So if you want to go get we're going to give you the Cliff Note version here, but that's the more detailed piece. I mean, listen, this is a huge, event in this case. The case is important because it's going to determine how much, authority you could say that the SEC has in regulating crypto. If they beat Ripple, if they're allowed to say that it's XRP cryptocurrency, which had sold back in, I think, 2018, several years ago, and over a period of time, sold that to finance the platform, that crypto is actually a security that went unregistered because they didn't register with the SEC like Ether, like Bitcoin, then they possibly could go into a broader enforcement agenda. They could go theoretically after Ether, and Ethereum has the Ether crypto is native to the Ethereum blockchain, one of the biggest blockchains. I think we're talking about $240 billion worth of Ethereum trades right now. So this is a huge thing. If the SEC wins, there could be other cases involving those bigger cryptos. What's at stake today is Ripple's motion to get documents out of the SEC, see what essentially I would say somewhat controversial, but very confidential documents about the inner workings of the SEC and how they deliberated on making XRP a security, specifically how they relate to the speech of a guy named Bill Hinman, former head of corporation finance at the SEC. He was the guy that first said Ether and Bitcoin are okay. They don't come under SEC rule regulation, but everybody else is suspect. And not long after that, XRP went under Ripple, and XRP faced an SEC investigation. And 2 years after that, essentially, they filed their...
What Charles is failing to mention, which he didn't have to, but right after that speech had taken place, there's actual video footage of looking at the actual price action and the charts in regards of what happened to Ethereum after they got the that free pass from the Ethereum free pass speech by William Hinman, which was just a straight rocket straight up. And then even the people that were interviewing on that same exact stage he gave the speech, they were like, whoa, I guess this is why they cracked down on insider trading. And it's like, yeah, That's what happens. So moving on to the next video here. This is Jeremy Hogan, and this is just a snippet of his video and kind of giving his perspective on what he took out of the conference that took place. So I want to thank John. First of all, I want to thank Tim for putting up this video. Tim always puts up great videos when it comes to the Fox Business stuff. And this is Digital Asset Investor kind of putting up this little clip right here. I highly recommend you go to Legal Briefs. That's Jeremy Hogan's YouTube channel, and watch his latest video. Watch the entire video because he has a lot of great information in there. Let's take a listen into this.
The judge asked, is the SEC taking the position now that the speech reflected the Division of Corporate Finance's position? And the SEC attorney said yes. Now, she tried to equivocate a little bit after that, but the first and the direct answer was yes. And even worse, towards the end of the hearing, when the argument had turned to policy versus legal guidance, the SEC attorney actually said this. Listen to this, quote, the purpose of the speech was to provide market guidance on how the SEC would treat digital assets. Now, I couldn't believe she said that, and still right now, I doubt that my notes are correct, because this motion was already lost in the first 5 minutes. But those two remarks by the SEC attorney, especially the second one, put the Hinman speech back into play as market guidance and puts it back into relevance. It's like the SEC is having the opposite of having their cake and eating it too. So after today, with the quote that the speech was market guidance, Hinman's speech is back in play potentially as both official guidance as to whether XRP is a security and back in play as to the fair notice defense. And that's how gambits fall apart on you. You have to be very careful what you say when you're online and when you're in court, because that stuff lives forever. And in trying to win a loser, the SEC might just have lost a winner. The judge...
So I don't know if you've been watching any of his legal brief stuff in regards to this Ripple versus SEC stuff and the cases, and kind of him giving his, his legal background and his legal opinion on kind of what's happening in the ins and out. He tends to have like these subtle, props, if you will, kind of in the background. And I always kind of go down in the comments to see, what was his thought process and, what does it symbolize. And I'm thinking this is some sort of punching bag. I don't know if it comes, like if you punch it, it goes away and it comes back. I don't know exactly what this is, but that's what it looks like. And I'm curious, what was his intent of placing this right here, because this guy's a character and he tends to throw these little subtle hints in regards of reflecting, what's kind of taking place based off of these symbolization or these objects. So if you know what this is about, if you've seen anything, I'm gonna make sure I kind of come in and kind of read some of the tweet threads there and see if anybody's kind of figured out, what exactly is he trying to symbolize here. But I want to thank Jeremy Hogan for all the strong work that he's done, kind of keeping the community up to date. Digital Asset Investor always doing a great job. I want to thank all these gentlemen for fighting the good fight. Moving on here, Johnny Deaton's responding to Yasan Morbrock here, where they're coming in. And pretty much he's responding to Johnny Deaton when he says the SEC just filed a motion to seal its opposition to the amicus brief of Patrick Doody. They are citing as basis witness safety. I sure hope no XRP holder has contacted or threatened Mr. Doody in any way. So I covered this in our yesterday's video, and Yasan says you should have a say, John, as to why the SEC feels it's necessary to seal its opposition. If they are giving false reasons to the judge, someone should tell the judge about that. And then Johnny Deaton says, I understand, and people have asked me why I didn't address it in my letter filed this morning. My letter to the judge this morning points out to the court that I followed the rules exactly and that I should be allowed an opportunity to file a reply to the SEC's opposition. It's a bit confusing, and the SEC may honestly be mistaken, or they assumed I wasn't paying attention to the rules considering I don't practice in the SDNY. Either way, the judge will decide my letter is, and you can come in here, pause it, and kind of read through the letter, and he highly recommends that you do. Coming down here, he says, the reason I didn't address the motions to seal in the request asking the court to order me not to discuss the opposition brief to anyone is because I haven't seen or read the opposition brief. I don't know how serious or not the issue is. I admit I don't trust the SEC judgment on the matter. After all, they told the judge that I threatened to commit violence on SEC staff and promote drug use. Calling those allegations as misrepresentation is a gross misunderstatement. Hence, I don't trust the SEC's characterization. But when you don't know the nature of the, quote, safety concern, It is best not to comment. Ripple lawyers apparently object to sealing the brief, and they have read the opposition brief. Between Ripple and the wisdom and experience of the judge, we hope for the correct outcome. So that's just an update on kind of what's going on in that regard. I wanted to come over here and look at James Rule XRP. He kind of put up a thread here where he was saying he had a chat with Jimmy Valley on the following of his response to the Ripple versus SEC hearing. And this is a screenshot that was sent to James, and it says, statement, Jimmy Fowley, Managing Director of Valhalla Capital, LLC. SEC counsel statements before the court and thousands of interested parties in yesterday's hearing definitively proves the SEC versus Ripple et al. Lawsuit was brought and continues in bad faith. The federal government's ongoing actions through this corrupted agency of the legacy banking system have, 1, violated the SEC's primary mission duty to protect investors, 2, approximately cost trillions of dollars in damages to Americans and individuals outside the United States, and 3, serves to this day as a pretext for institutions, public companies, and certain wealthy elites to manipulate digital assets exchanges and other markets relating to digital assets, in some cases by simply delisting XRP. Where are the honorable people in the federal government's leadership that have not been compromised in this sham? Let it be known to all involved, every politician, agency employee, attorney, business person, and market participant, that your actions and willful complacency is this travesty shall be revealed. In this travesty shall be revealed, and justice will be served. Man, I love to hear that, and I want to thank James Rule XRP for kind of sharing that with the community. You can kind of read through the thread, but he was pretty much restating kind of what was in here. Moving on here. I thought this was pretty funny. So, digital asset investor and a lot of community members have been calling out Jake Travinsky from the Blockchain Association, who claims to be, crypto industry, representatives. They claim to, represent the entire industry, if you will, but they have yet to, from my understanding and clearly from the understanding of the rest of the community members, they have yet to help out Johnny Deaton and Ripple in this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. So he said, face saving 101. To catch up on yesterday's SEC versus Ripple hearing, I watched John Deaton's coverage and was quite impressed by his knowledge and balanced analysis. The energy he's built is remarkable and very rare in the world of SEC enforcement. We may not agree on everything, but nice work, John. So, I think he just hit it on the head. Face saving 101. So, hey, do the right thing, step up and fight the good fight. And stop kind of, picking winners and losers and choosing what you want to do, especially if you're claiming to be, an industry or crypto industry working group. Moving on, this is from X Anderson. He says, Ripple is crushing the SEC. Jet is soon out of XRP. Crypto regulations are coming. ODL is ramping up. Ripple is hiring like no tomorrow, where a lot of other exchanges and blockchain companies are either freezing or, laying off employees. Multiple CBDCs, liquidity hub expanding, hold your diamonds, XRP. I completely agree. I've been holding and accumulating since late 2017, so I'm just holding on until the fireworks really start to show, and I start hitting some of my price targets. And I wanted to touch on this too. Just Jake Travinsky here, and they're talking about this update with Grayscale. So if you come in here, it says, as we enter this from Grayscale, as we enter the final month before a response is due on our application to convert GBTC to an ETF, we have retained Donald B. Verrilli, former Solicitor General of the United States, as additional legal counsel. So they come and have a short thread here where they say, we want to ensure that we have the strongest possible team of legal minds ready to support our BTC ETF application. Verrilli will serve as a senior legal strategist working alongside our attorneys and in-house counsel. He is one of the nation's most experienced attorneys with a deep understanding of legal theory, administrative procedure, and the practical matters of working with the judiciary branch. Over the course of his career, he has argued more than 50 cases before the United States Supreme Court, including several that dealt directly with Administrative Procedure Act, so APA violations. We are thrilled that he is joining our team as we work towards a positive resolution for investors and the general public. So the reason why I'm talking about this, because remember we were talking about, we've been waiting for, a spot Bitcoin ETF, and you have all these applications that's been coming out. The SEC keeps denying left and right, and there's been talks within the community that Grayscale is going to be the first one to get it. So that's something that we were talking about in our previous videos. So to see that they're taking this more solid, a more well-grounded approach, bringing on solid legal representation, strategist, and so on, just to kind of literally solidify themselves in regards of, hey, we checked off all the boxes, we have all the legal representation, we're trying to do everything right so we can convert this GBTC to a spot Bitcoin ETF. So if the SEC does come back and try to deny them, then they're going to have enough strength to come after the SEC, which they've already talked about, like, hey, you keep denying us, we're going to come after you type stuff. So Jay Kravinsky says, strong move. Grayscale means business. The SEC's deadline to approve or deny the application to convert GBTC to an ETF is July. No doubt it should be approved. I don't see how the SEC survives a legal challenge if not, especially one led by Don Verrilli. So that's super positive. Johnny Deaton says, this is great news and sends a clear message to Gary Gensler that ultimately he will lose the war. Thrilled to see Grayscale and so on go on the offensive. Absolutely. Take the fight to them. But that's just a quick update of kind of what's going on. I thought this was, based on all the information that I was getting, I think this was the most relevant in regards of me. And I just kind of wanted to have a conversation, kind of update you guys, the community, about kind of what I've been seeing and kind of what's happening with the Ripple versus SC stuff. Obviously, we have some spot Bitcoin ETF updates and just everything that's happening with Ripple and XRP. And it's just a matter of when, not if, this thing takes off. I want you to come over here and make sure you subscribe. We'll continue to put out great content for you guys, update you on what's going on in the crypto space, especially when it comes to this Ripple versus SC stuff. Going to continue to share my experience, my knowledge, just my experience in general and my thought process on what's going on within the market. Subscribe to Crypto is Key. Come over here and follow us on Twitter at CryptoIsKey1 as well. We want to grow this social media platform as well, because this is where we get a lot of our information, so you can see ahead of time kind of what we're going to cover, because we tend to retweet, quote tweet, and kind of put out tweet threads throughout the days and weeks and months. So with all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe.